An iconic mask is often the calling card of a horror movie franchise. From big-name brands like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers to underrated gems like Satan's Little Helper and the Furies. Distorting a villain's face and letting them go wild really makes for some of the most unnerving sequences you can get in cinema. That being said though, whilst a veil of anonymity is clinical enough to make cold-blooded slashers that extra bit unpleasant, it is the morbid interest in what's underneath that really makes them scary. Who is this mysterious freak? Why are they hiding their face? Why have they chosen this particular getup? Hang on a second, are they even human? But as we all know by now, curiosity really does kill the cat. And that's about true for near every other poor soul that witnessed what lies beneath these malignant masks. Whether it's from a narrative left turn, a monstrous visage, or a grisly pairing of both, these are the unmaskings far more shocking than anyone could have imagined. And that is really saying something considering the state of their ghoulish disguises. I am the barefaced Ash from WhatCulture Horror, and these are the 10 most shocking horror movie unmaskings. 10. Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Big Bad Jason has his fair share of unmaskings throughout his hefty franchise of movies, but I'm going to stick with the 7th movie for the likes of this list purely for its iconic nastiness alone. Where we've previously seen Jason as a child and in potential dream sequences with no mask at all, the first open choice for Jason to show what is lurking under his sports gear is in Part 3, where he flips up the hockey mask to let Chris see an unnerving and familiar face. As if anyone could forget that mug. Part 7 comes after we see a far more squishy, supernaturally faced Jason in the preceding movies, so we already know we're not getting anything pretty should we get the standard once per movie-ish viewing reveal. And oh hell, did they double down on that when Jason bears all. With his mask getting tightened by telekinetic Tina, the thing splits in two just after he whips around to square up to his adversary, bringing what can only be described as a rotten satsuma of a head to the fore. It is a grisly reveal that revels in Jason's zombified grossness, and really just makes us glad that he wears a mask most of the time, to be honest. 9. The Phantom of the Opera. The OG jump scare, despite coming in a silent film, the 1925 release of The Phantom of the Opera sees the Phantom laid bare in all of his glory as his mask is ripped off from behind. What we've only seen as a bizarre, uncanny human face mask previously, half-fitted from brow to nose and painted in an expression of empathy with the lower half hanging loose to hide his mouth, is taken away to reveal a screeching, enraged Phantom. And is his face anything but empathetic? Maddened at Christine's disobedience, the looming mass of Lon Chaney moves ever closer to the screen, distorted and manipulated into a terrifying skeletal spectre. For an audience in the 20s especially, this would have been a moment so heady and unexpected it is no surprise that they apparently fainted. And even now it still stands as a defining moment of early horror cinema. Whilst Chaney's look has since gone down in history, seeing it for the first time in such a built-up, surprising reveal still has the power to send a spooky chill down the spine. 8. The Predator. There's no denying that the Predator looks freaky enough as it is with its mask on. An alien species that prides itself on battle prowess, the Yautja are sport hunters that target any others they can get a fair fight out of, bringing their weaponry and tactical mastery to annihilate prey and turn them into trinkets. Fun. The original Predator movie lets us see firsthand exactly what these extraterrestrial monsters are packing under their technology, with Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch squaring up to the titular baddie as it sheds its mask for some one-on-one action. And his reaction says it all, really. You're one ugly motherfucker. Harsh, but true. Underneath its armoured exterior there lies a heavy jaw framed with mandibles, giving what was once an almost humanoid alien a far more distinct insect edge. Deep-set eyes, scaly skin, and a whole load more mouth than any creature could possibly need. Seeing this fella discard his mask for an evenly matched fight, and revealing the true face of the Yautja in the process, is still an absolutely gasp-worthy moment. 7. The Man. Hush. Almost every horror movie you watch with a masked murderer will wear such a disguise by choice. They want to hide something, whether it's a disfigured face or their identity at large, so use some creepy covering to make sure they can go about their business without incurring any unwanted repercussions to their own appearance. Hush, however, is different. Deaf and mute Maddie is accosted by a killer that wears a mask that looks like he cast it himself in plaster of Paris, but it still does the job. As he toys with her from outside her home, Maddie desperately tries to earn her freedom from his attacks, writing that she hasn't seen his face and will keep their encounter to herself should he just go away. Only this botherer has no intentions of going away. He brazenly takes off his mask upon reading her note, ensuring she gets a good, long look at his face to prove just how serious he is about Maddie's torment. This isn't a shocking reveal in that he's got something scary locked under his mask. Rather, it's quite the opposite. It's shocking for just how little this man has to hide. He all but flaunts his smug little head as a stone-cold assurance he is intent on her death. 6. Michael Myers. Halloween 5: The Revenge of Michael Myers. Michael Myers has built his legacy on 3 things. 1 is being a terrifying force of evil, naturally. 2 is his excellent exercise routine that allows him to walk supernaturally fast. And 3 is wearing William Shatner's face on his own so that we never get a proper look at his true self. For the most part, at least. His whole shtick is being the Shape, an unknowable entity defined only by his white rubbery head and silhouette of whatever he is using to wipe out the person in front of him. To have a moment where his brutal reign of terror is subdued by humanity feels like we're looking at something we really shouldn't be. But that is what we get a couple of times in the series, and most notably in Halloween 5. Myers removes his mask in front of Jamie to show a single tear running down his face, before remembering, hey, I'm Michael frickin' Myers, and ramming the disguise back over his head to get back into the stabbing state of mind. It is an eerie moment, one that stands out from Michael's long and varied history since we know his face largely by its lack of visibility, and surprising both for its intimacy and the jump scare that follows. 5. Ryan. Happy Death Day to You. The Happy Death Day movies thrive on being murder mysteries first and foremost, with a time loop driving Tree to insane lengths to figure out who keeps killing her and causing her to relive the same day over and over again. In the first film, the babyface killer intent on hacking up Tree eventually comes second to personal vendettas that are the true cause of death. But in the second movie, the two are one and the same. Taking on the school's mascot disguise to get away with murder, there's more than one unmasking that makes the cut in Happy Death Day to You. The first and most freaky that we're faced with, though, is an early brain twister as roommate Ryan, the target of someone trying to kill him and trapped in his own time loop, manages to stop the babyface killer hot on his trail. After subduing the villain, Tree takes his mask off only to find that it is also Ryan hidden underneath. The very same one standing next to her and staring down at his own dead body. Wait, what? Happy Death Day to You teaches us very quickly that despite living this day hundreds of times over already, nothing will be as we remember. 4. Sam. Trick-or-Treat. For a film that presents its main Halloween character as a little kid wandering around with a burlap sack on his head, it sure comes as one hell of a surprise when he takes the thing off and is not a child at all. Oh no, Sam is some shriveled, pumpkin-headed Halloween deity with a sweet tooth for trick-or-treat sweets and morbid violence, ensuring his rules of the holiday are enforced as he watches from the sidelines. Granted, Sam is a pretty cute villain all things considered, but he is an entirely unexpected monster to pop out from underneath his Hessian hood when we were expecting something, well, just not the bastard child of Pumpkinhead, really. Caught up in a fight with a cranky old man who steals candy from kids, Sam's mask is ripped off in the heat of the moment, spurring on a fraught battle between the two until Sam is sedated with some sweets of his own. The clue to staying on Sam's good side is in the title on this one, it would seem. And since he is an angry gourd baby of evil risen up to brutally protect Halloween tradition, best to keep a stock of holly hoes and latkes on hand just in case. 3. Scrappy Doo. Scooby-Doo. Look, right, I already know this isn't what you'd expect of a horror movie in the same way the other movies on this list are. We're all aware that the live-action Scooby-Doo movie's biggest scare factor comes from an anthropomorphic dog dressed up as an old woman more than it does its villains, if you're a cynic and hate fun at least. But, I beseech you, Scooby-Doo is a horror movie template, designed to introduce children to the world of mild peril, ghosts, and real monsters being a lot closer to home than we ever give them credit for. And so, I entered to this list Scrappy f***ing Doo. Learning that the puppy piece of has made his way onto Spooky Island, stolen a bunch of human souls, and plotted his revenge against Mystery Inc. whilst wearing the face of Mr. Bean of all people, makes for the type of reveal that would make M. Night Shyamalan blush, and perfectly encapsulates the horror pastiche that Scoobert himself thrives upon. Growing up on this ridiculous, loving homage to the horror genre only makes every other unmasking on this list all the better. And he would have gotten away with it too, if it weren't for these meddling kids. 2. Shell. Kill List. With one of the most bizarre unmaskings put to screen, Kill List boasts a weird turn of events that will leave you sick to your stomach. A film of two halves if there ever was one, we begin with the story of Hitman Jay as he returns to the world of contract killing, and end with the story of a cult ritual. Seeded with tiny clues throughout the narrative, Jay's involvement with a force much bigger than himself never makes itself obvious, and instead we are plunged into a mysterious sequence of white robes, straw masks, and a forced fight between Jay and a mysterious hunchback as the cultists watch on. Jay eventually bests his opponent, stabbing them in the back repeatedly. A victory by any other standard perhaps, but his mistake becomes clear when the straw mask is removed and the bloodied face of his wife Shell stares back at him. And her hunchback? Actually their piggybacking son strapped to her, now dead from Jay's actions. What does it mean? Why did this happen? We are never gonna truly know. But watching a man unknowingly murder his wife and child in the guise of a ritualistic battle is at the very least shocking. So here we are. 1. Gunther, the Funhouse. Where better for a masked killer to hide in plain sight than surrounded by the lights and noise of a fun fair? Immersed in that special creepy atmosphere reserved for childhood memories gone sour, the Funhouse dives deep into meta territory by having a masked monster in a monster mask, with Gunther dressed as Frankenstein's creation for most of the runtime. After murdering a fortune teller, Gunther is harassed by his father and driven into a rage in which he tears his mask off, proving that his choice of disguise isn't that far from the truth when his pale, mutated form is freed from its rubbery prison. Fanged, red-eyed, wispy-haired, and roaring in anguish, Gunther's monstrous self is a completely unexpected left turn on what one would expect to be hidden under his eerily accurate mask, dialing the movie up to 11 for the teens trapped at the fair with a creature now intent on killing them off. No thank you. And that's our list. Which surprise under the mask most shocked you? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I've been Ash over on social media at Ash Millman, and this has been WhatCulture. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and come back again soon for some more spine-tingling horror content. Thanks for watching.